Welcome to CEO Insights. I'm Marilyn de Guzman with INN. I'm speaking with Robin Dow, Chairman and CEO of Nevada Organic Phosphate. Hi, Robin.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you. Let's start our conversation with just sort of talking about the Murdock property. You've just announced a significant expansion of the property. What does this mean for your exploration strategy?
Well, we had first acquired the Murdock Mountain property in 2012, and then the price of phosphate and potash fell through the floor, and it's been 10 years before it came back. And it started to come back in 21 and 22, and so things have been gaining momentum. So we had about 6.25 kilometers of strike at Murdock Mountain, which is in northeast Nevada. And we've now made 3 more applications to the BLM, because it's all federal land, to increase that from 6 to 29.5 kilometers. But what's really exciting is that it's all it looks like a letter C, with the top of the C facing north and the open parts facing south. And so that's 12.25 square miles. And so what it means is all around the outer edge of the sea, we like to say it's like a pie crust, and the fruit in the pie is in the middle, because the dip, whether you're on the east, south, west, or north, is all into the center at 27 degrees. So it's homogeneous. It's all rock phosphate. It all starts at surface, and we can drill into it. And very shallow drill holes will be core holes. And but it's a huge piece of property. I mean, 12.25 square miles is a small city, right? So the whole idea is that because phosphate is homogeneous and that it seems to be consistent in grade throughout, that when we go start drilling in March, April, then it will be a reasonably consistent effort with shallow holes, maybe 100 yards, 100 meters down, maybe 150. It's not deep at all. And so it's just a matter of the large extent of it. When you're drilling over 30-kilometer distance and you're doing a hole every 200-300 meters, that's a lot of drilling, even if it's only 100 meter each. So it portends that it could be very exciting for us this year. We had to go through the process of the environmental assessment with the Bureau of Land Management, because it's all federal land, all controlled by the BLM, 75% of Nevada. And so we had to do an economic assessment, an EA. Took us 12 months, 200,000 Canadian to finish it. We filed it in November. They tell us, to be able to give us a prospecting permit in early, mid-February, which will permit us to start drilling when the snow goes. We have no idea when that will be, because Murdock Mountain is up at 9,000 feet. And so then it drifts down to sort of 8,000 feet, which is quite reasonable. But because it's the whole mountain range, we started out calling it Murdock Mountain, but it's really the Leech Mountain Range now. It's going to take some time to drill, but we think that we'll be able to give people some really good results by the summer and drill right into November when it starts to snow again, and have a really good idea of what the grade and tonnage and the geometry of the ore body are by that time.
So for viewers that are not too familiar with, rock phosphate, sedimentary rock phosphate, could you explain what the economic and environmental benefits of that is?
Well, it's really an interesting and exciting idea, because there is no rock phosphate right now produced in North America. All the phosphate either comes from Western Sahara or Morocco, or from Etafos in Idaho, or Mosaic in Florida. And it's all contaminated with uranium, thorium, and cadmium, even the stuff in Sahara. So it has to go through a process to separate it out into phosphoric acid and in what they call phosphogypsum. And you get a ton of acid, which you can use for fertilizer or other things, and you get 5 tons of phosphogypsum, which is radioactive. You can't do anything with it, right? It becomes, at Mosaic, north of Tampa, they've got a mountain of this stuff 5 miles long and 500 feet high. Can't do anything with it. Hello, this kind of pilot project with the Nevada Department of Highways to mix this radioactive stuff with the cement to put on the highways. So I like to joke, oh yeah, highways are going to glow in the dark. No more accidents. It's going to be real history. So, it's fun. But the fact of the matter is that the current phosphate that's produced from the acid is blended with ammonium to make mono and diammonium phosphate. And ammonium phosphate, when it's spread on the fields, is soluble in the rain, and it runs off. And if you've ever seen the huge algae blooms in rivers and lakes, that comes from this phosphate runoff, as well as urea and a few other things, but mainly phosphate. So the federal, provincial, state regulators, US, Europe, are going to shut down the use of acid-based phosphate fairly soon, next couple of years. So what's Mosaic going to do? What's Atafos going to do? What's Nutrient going to do? We're the only answer. We are the only potential raw rock phosphate deposit in North America. And it's really simple. And the other phosphate, you have to put it through a beneficiation process that's expensive to produce the acid. Then you have to mix it with the ammonium, and then you have to granulate it, capsulate it, and set it out. Ours, we blow it up, dig it up, grind it up, bag it up, and ship it out. Right, we're 6 miles from Montello, which is a major highway hub. It's the end, or it's a spur of the Union Pacific Railway. So when we say this is what we're going to do, we get a good old boy with some plastic caps to break up the rock, a good old boy with a front end loader to dig it up, to put it in a couple of trucks driven by a couple of contracting good old boys, who'll take it down to Montello, dump it on a pad. Somebody else on contract will throw it through a grinder or micronizer. It'll all flow in like a sand into a 4-cube bag that you get your topsoil in. And we take that 4-cube bag across the street, across the 2-lane highway, to a rail car at the railhead. We load the freight container or the box car, and when it's full, we ship it to California. That's it. No contamination, nothing, no contaminants, no waste. It's all simple rock dust.
So you're talking to an investor, and
it's the most fun you can have for 5 cents this year.
Right. You anticipated my question. So what were some of can you talk about some of the milestones from the company from 2023?
Well, the big milestone of 23 was getting through the review process for the environmental assessment. So they say that took 12 months and 200,000 Canadian to get it done to the BLM satisfaction. Now, since November, they're in the process of reviewing it. And the next milestone will be in mid-February, where they say, here's your prospecting permit. You can go and drill it. Drill as much as you want. And then when you sort of work out your ore body and you do your preliminary economic assessment, you come back to us, and then you apply for another permit to go into production. But then we don't have to redo the environmental assessment because it'll be the same. But those are the major hurdles for us. The next milestone is to get permission to drill in mid-February. The next is for the snow to go away, to melt in March, April, and then to get drilling. When the drilling starts, we'll drill right through November. Mm-hmm. And so because this is homogeneous and it's shallow, it's not hard rock like we're drilling for gold or silver or base metals, where you're down 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, you're looking for grams per ton. This is 100 meters down from surface, and it's contiguous tonnage. It's homogeneous, it's the same thing. It's not a vein structure. It's not epithermal. It's a sedimentary sand that runs throughout this. So it's to start with, it's an old ocean that becomes a lake and evaporates over a millennia. And the salts from that lake are phosphoretic salts, and they become a layer that's not usually has an overburden over it of, in this case, calcium chloride or calcium carbonate, pardon me, which is just limestone. They use it for roads. So that's the hanging wall, the footwall, and that has 3% P2O5 in it. So we have to dilute the 15% P2O5 phosphate to use as a fertilizer to get it to 6-8% so it doesn't burn the crops. Then we blend it with the hanging wall, the footwall, calcium carbonate, 2 for 1. So instead of having maybe 500 million tons, we got 1.5 billion tons, 5%. So this could be very, very large very quickly. We'll know by the end of November how big it is, which is unusual for any mining operation.
Right. So, we're here at DRIC in Vancouver. What's the key message you'd like the investors attending here to know about your company?
Very simple. It's unique. There's no other raw rock organic phosphate produced in North America, and we're not sure if there's any in the world, because we're at a level where at 15%, we're just below horizon. Over 17%, that's when all the bad stuff kicks in. So we don't have any. So it's unique and it's needed, and we're going to create a market for it. And the three big guys, Mosaic and Natafos and Nutrien, are going to need our product to replace their their liquid soluble phosphate they're using now. That's going to go out of business. What are they going to do? They have to come to us. And I'm not looking for a joint venture partner. I'm going to drill this up myself because it's easy to do. It's not expensive to do. I have institutions in the northeast of the U.S., Boston, New York, who will give me money if I can get the stock up 5 cents. And my objective, I go on the road in a week for 4 weeks to, like John the Baptist crying in the wilderness, get the story told, get the stock up, raise a couple of $1 million and go drill. So come along, have some fun. It's an easy story to understand. It's not complex. It's in northeast Nevada. We've got road, we've got railroad, and it's a simple, easy story. Don't make it too complex. Don't make it harder to understand than it is. You won't have an easier story to tell this year.
Great. Well, thanks, Robin, for sharing your company updates and your insights today.
My pleasure. NevadaPhosphate.com.
There you go. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Join us again next time for another engaging conversation on CEO Insight.
Thank you.
If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates and interviews. See you next time.